Well, this video is going to be a bit different from my usual ones. It's just straight up going to be a bit of a tangent. So, recently everything's been feeling a bit kind of predictable. Um, and it's like we're stuck in a performance almost where we have to, I don't know, stand up for trans rights this time around, which I mean, I support trans rights and I've even gone down that rabbit hole myself, but it feels like we're all in an auditorium where, say, I don't know, everyone's talking about their own kind of separate things in a way. And then, there's one person who goes and says, hey, what about my rights? And then some other guy just comes up behind them and then says, yeah, what about our rights? And completely blocks off the other person who is probably feeling a bit pissed off that the other guy just did that and co opted his what about my rights into a what about everyone's rights kind of thing, you know? And that's the kind of performance that we're kind of stuck in at the moment, I feel. And sort of tackling with every day of life, seemingly. Um, Namely, I think it's more applicable to someone like me, an introvert who's I've only got it in me to say one thing before then just shutting down and being too scared to respond in a public setting like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would feel that urge to punch the guy as well. And maybe I would, But so far, I every time I try to, it doesn't really work, you know? It's probably a reflection of how my being sheltered my whole life has kind of left me with my parents kind of shielding me, namely my mother, because she organizes all these things for me to essentially protect me from the glare of my father, who's like, go get a job, Like, not in a super conservative way, but he does have a bit of a conservative vibe to him, just a little bit. We're all atheists, though, so it makes it feel a bit less like the whole looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, is a duck kind of situation, It makes it feel more like we're not a duck, We're kind of like in the middle, but still very much the conservative duck, but, in sheep's clothing, I suppose. Which, boy, speaking of conservatives, I've actually met a few of those so called flesh heads in VR chat. Now, what I know of them is that they're basically just right wing recruiters, essentially, who originated in the UK and then spread elsewhere until you eventually get those Americans who unironically are like, oh, Hitler didn't die. He's still alive and with us. Or some shit like that, where they believe a conspiracy because that's what apparently got them out of a hole that they accidentally dug themselves into. I don't really know, honestly, what makes people believe it all, aside from maybe desperation and falsely assuming that grabbing onto those ideas somehow helped them. I mean, shit. It, the emotions that it gave them might have, but I don't think the beliefs themselves directly did. Though I guess in a way you could say they did, because fucking hell, it's so fucking like I just want to believe what I want to believe. I don't want to be forced to believe something in order to feel more motivated to live in a particular manner that might appear more socially advantageous or, sorry, appear more acceptable to other people, because it's like it feels a bit wrong in a way, you know? Then again, who am I kidding? My life is going to change regardless of whether or not I want it to. Um, Same with my mind, which, yeah, for better or for worse, am I right, guys? Yeah.